Okay guys, welcome back. Today we're gonna talk about what's easy but hard. So just like always, I try to put some clips to the side today. Don't really have much to do with what I'm saying. I search for the right clips, but just watch them for entertainment. Otherwise this is a really dry talk, so just watch that if you want and listen to what I have to say. So what is easy but hard? So actually a lot of stuff in breaking is actually quite easy in a way. Also really hard power moves and freezes also, but they require one simple thing: consistency and discipline, right? Those two things. So if we talk about the move, the head spin, obviously you need a good floor and a head spin beanie, but other than that, it's just being consistent and doing the right training, right? Doing the exact thing. I have a couple of tutorials on this channel that are explain how to basically unlock it. And if you're just disciplined and just do the right things, it will come eventually, right? Like a move like that spin can even come in 3 months that you can at least tap endlessly and spin a little bit without hands. It's just being consistent, doing it either every day or every other day as much as you can. When we talk a move like balances, like elbow balance, hand balance, this kind of shit, it's exactly the same thing. One hand balance is notoriously hard, even though for b-boys it's often less hard because we have more basics on standing on one arm, so we have a little bit more experience. But all in all, if you do all the right flexibility and strength training, it will come. You just have to be consistent and you just have to do the right thing, right? So let's talk about a move like planche. There's actually a progression that you could do from what we call frog freeze to tuck planche to straight back planche to stretching out your legs to a straddle planche and eventually doing the real planche, right? Now you might say, but that's fucking hard. No, yeah, it is hard. I mean, I can do a full planche and hold it. The thing is, I didn't do that discipline, that work, keeping it up every time, keeping each position 30 seconds. That's exactly what that discipline is. So basically what you have to do is grind those moves, grind those things, right? Now obviously this applies kind of to everything if you think about it. So if you just think about footwork, you have to grind each step over and over and over till you sort of fully master them. But that's sort of different because it's more of a, you flow, you're jamming. Now here's something that really helps is you almost have to do this kind of stuff either as a warm-up. That's what I usually do when I practice like freezes. I sort of do it when I practice alone, or as a warm-up, and then when I go all out I sort of just do the freezes, but I'm not practicing them, right? I'm not trying to progress them. And I did a video about the +1 method, right? And it's simply a way that you always progress, and that's that each training you have to be a little bit better than the last training, but it can be really small. But as long as you add that up, you will never decrease, you will never go down. And even if you don't make the quota, let's say you did 10 rounds of head spin without hands, I'm just saying something, right? And the next day you try, but you can't get past 5 rounds. You still did a lot of hard work for that training, so you will still be doing actually kind of fine, right? If you think about, even though I didn't make the quota, I didn't improve that training, I did so much work on that training to reach that quota, I still did the hard work I need to do to progress and get there. So basically it's very boring often, and that's why these moves sometimes are hard, and also sometimes it's really heavy. Like if you talk about stuff like planche, obviously physical strength has something to do with it. Sometimes you need to stretch a lot for certain moves. For instance, the one hand balance, basically it's way easy if you can keep your legs forward and almost in a full split, right? So if you don't have that flexibility, that's also something you have to work with. Yet again, that's the discipline, you keep working at it. But in a way, like head spin, like the balance, a lot of freezes, we know how to do them, they're not overly complicated. You need to keep grinding them and don't stop after you can do it a little bit. No, every time you need to improve your flexibility. That's also part of discipline, and that's what actually makes these moves very hard. Because like for me it was air baby. I was at some point sort of addicted to improving that move, and then one day I did 30 seconds and it got old fast, right? So I thought, you know, then I tried to play with it, and it was actually very tricky for me to go up to a one-hand balance and that kind of stuff. So at some point the move was quite boring, so now I'm sort of off the move, right? I still do them obviously and play with them, but I'm not really practicing anymore. That's the discipline, because if that was, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, if I kept that training up, I would have a killer air baby right now, right? Think about it. So you always need to keep sort of grinding your stuff to a better level, and like if you want to unlock moves, it's exactly the same. It's hard, but actually not that hard as you think. Just keep grinding, keep being disciplined, and if you, as long as you do the right training and the right thing, you will get those moves. If they're not overly complicated, like well, even the windmill or an air flare or something, there's so many little details in that move that it's often very hard, and you can keep trying them forever and maybe not get them if you don't do the right thing. But like stuff like getting a planche, getting a balance on your elbow or hand, you know, like moves like head spin or 90, it's simply do the work, keep being disciplined, and most of all, you know, try to improve it each time. Don't be satisfied with your 2 rounds, unless you're like me. Well, I didn't necessarily, I won 10 rounds, but for me it was more like, hey, how can I combo with my 90, right? So that's fine, whatever your goal is. So, you know, keep grinding, guys, and try to, if you jam with other b-boys or train with other b-boys, try to do it actually a little bit as you can outside of the training. Do a double training if you must, because you want to show the results. And these guys will wonder how does he keep improving so easy? No, you're working for it, right? But they don't have to know. They just see you improve and get new moves, and you know, the grind will come. Also, one thing what's important is to note that your buddies, the guys that you always train with, they will see the same thing often, but when you go to a jam, they will see the result of your training, so they will see the new stuff. And that's why sometimes it's good to do a battle or you know, go to another city, something like that, to keep it fresh for yourself too. So that's my little lesson. See you next time.